Have you ever driven over a highway bridge and couldn't help but look below? Or stood on a shoreline's rocky ridge just to watch the water flow? And count yourself as one of the few with a different set of dreams, the kind that keeps you up at night, 'cause you can't wait to get to that stream. It's more than a river. It's more than the water flowing or where it's going. It's the grip on the paddle and the shit in the saddle, the V in the boulders and the lean in the shoulders. When you reach for the eddy, it doesn't get better than this. Yes, it's more. So much more than a river.
Hello, everybody. Welcome tonight to our live conversations with Cross Currents Leadership. We are live tonight on Facebook, YouTube, and Substack. We're doing this series where we talk to the experts in paddle sports and outdoor recreation every Sunday and Wednesday night in January and February. Helping get those key nuggets of information that are going to level up what you're doing in paddle sports, your leadership opportunities in paddle sports this year. We just do 15 minutes at a pop, and we talk to some of the most awesome folks, and it's going to be really, really awesome tonight in particular. I want to thank everybody who's been watching. We've been getting phenomenal feedback, and if you're wondering what the trick is to make sure you don't miss your favorite speaker, trick is sign up on Substack so you get the email updates. And in particular, I want to give a big shout out to the folks who've been throwing a little special sauce in with their Substack subscription to support the work that we're doing here on the live streams and also in the community. So thanks, you guys. You don't have to do that. There is a free subscription available, but I sure appreciate you. In any case, I'm so excited tonight. We have just the most amazing guest. I am joined by a boating safety leader who has decades of leadership under her belt. Susan, thank you so much for joining us tonight and sharing some of your wisdom with the grassroots paddling leaders.
Well, Andrea, great to be here, and thank you for having me.
Susan Stalker serves the Iowa Department of Natural Resources as their boating law administrator. She also serves as their boating education coordinator, and she has served in that role since 2009. She is also a perennial leader at the National Association of State Boating Law Administrators. That's NASBLA, to those who are in the know. And having served on their education committee and their executive board, among other positions. So Susan, I'm going to start in the tough place so that it can only go up from here. You know, you and I have talked about this before. Part of the reason that it's so important that all our grassroots paddling leaders join forces with our boating law administrators, our state boating educators, is that the U.S. Coast Guard data is showing that while sailboats and power boats and sea-doos and all recreational boating as a whole is at a 50-year low in the fatality rate. Paddle sports is the one exception, and it's still growing. And in particular, it's growing on the easy water. And none of us can seem to just change that trajectory by ourselves. We've got to be in this together. Can you tell me more about your role as a boating law administrator and a state boating educator and what that means so that we know how to be of service to you?
Sure, Andrea, and that's a great place to start, even though, you know, it's not the most positive place to start. But so as you mentioned, our fatalities are down for motorboats, sailboats, but as paddle sports grows and tremendous, those fatalities are rising. And so as a boating law administrator or a BLA, each state has one, and I work with the Coast Guard in order to figure out laws and regulations that are going to affect paddlers. And then, of course, we come out and work very closely with our education coordinators so we can get the information out to keep our paddlers safe on the water.
Well, of course, because it's supposed to be fun. We all want to encourage the fun part.
Exactly.
That's why we're all in it.
Mm-hmm. Have fun, enjoy the outdoors, and can, be a part of nature.
Well, I know when I talk to a bunch of the ACA state and regional leaders, I always encourage them, get to know your boating law administrator and your boating education coordinator for your state, because really, as much as anything, it's about starting to have that relationship so that you can figure out how you can fit and work together. What I found most often is that I'm able to help them navigate the ACA world, or tell them about resources they might not have known about, provide training for their employees, or even instructor certification classes for some of the state employees. I've done that for multiple states. Tell me how your work in paddle sports education has played out in Iowa, and if you're having that conversation, what kinds of things you might talk about.
Sure. So in Iowa, again, we have some amazing ACA certified instructors on the DNR staff. However, in the Midwest, we struggle with getting a lot of ACA instructors. So Iowa is starting the process that we're going to use the ACA Smart Guide for safe paddling and incorporate that into our paddling program. So that is going to truly help our entry-level paddlers, because, you know, it is our entry-level paddlers, because it's very, very inexpensive to go buy a kayak, you know, buy the life jackets, buy a paddle, and be on the water immediately. So the ACA Smart Start Safe Paddling is going to be huge for us.
Yeah, no, that's a new program for ACA, and it's a really significant resource, not just for states, but for municipalities and other organizations. And because they offer the ACA tried and true curriculum in a publication, in a resource, and some other online resources, but you're not required to be an instructor to teach it. It is the most entry-level part of the curriculum. And so the ACA has empowered you. You have ACA instructors on staff. I know there are some states that don't have a lot of internal assets for paddle sports on staff that are partnering with some local instructors to get started with Smart Start. So there's a variety of ways that can take place, but it's a great resource that's just new on the market.
And we're really looking forward to it, because, again, you know, we reach out to our naturalists, partners that, you know, can help us teach intro to paddling. So the Smart Start for Safe Paddling is just going to enhance our program.
Absolutely. So now, when I talk to a lot of our state and local leaders, and I'm telling them how to find their state leaders, because they usually don't know where to look. I've linked in the show notes, and we can show some things, some visuals here, but the NASBLA website has a whole page for the state boating contacts. So it's easy to find your person and start having that conversation.
It is. And the NASBLA, like you said, the National Association of State Boating Law Administrators, they have a website. Every state is listed, and you can find the boating law administrator. You can find the education coordinator. You can even find the person who does the boat accident database entry and their licensing. So the website has a wealth of knowledge, and you can also get on chats in order to ask questions and you know, start a conversation on where do you find your contacts. So it's a great resource.
Yeah, so it's linked in the show notes, you guys, but you can see here how easy it is to just look on where's your state, and then pull up your state page and find the contacts and start building those relationships. I also put in the show notes, and Susan, I know this was a question that you had. If you as a state employee are looking for your ACA liaison, you can go to the ACA website and you look under community, and it's the Regional Activity Council. And you can find the executive committee, the regional chairs, the state directors, everybody's email address is linked. So we want to empower both the state officials and the grassroots leaders to find all of these folks, to find your ACA local representative, as well as your state officials, so that y'all can work together and build some entry-level paddling programs that make a difference in your community.
Exactly. And with all of our resources, everybody is struggling with the same thing. Our resources are getting in tighter and tighter. So being able to partner with other like-minded and safety advocates is huge for the state.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now here's the other piece of that. And I think a lot of the instructors and the boaters don't always think of this, but you and I know that this is true. The other thing that happens with a boating law administrator and even the boating education coordinator is that if there are any bills that are going to go to your legislature that affect paddlers, that affect regulation, that might affect paddlers, that affect access to waterways, or even protection of rivers, they ask you guys what you think about it. And they often ask you what your stakeholders think about it. So if we've already got a solid partnership with you, we're now able to be part of that conversation.
Sure, exactly. And that's a great point, Andrea, because, as a state agency, we are often required to do an impact statement when laws come up, and having an ACA strong partnership and having our boating advocate personnel, people that want to work with us, it gives us a strong political voice so that we can bring legislative items, and advocate for sound laws that, help Iowans and all of paddlers across the nation.
Yeah, what we most often find, it's not that legislators are trying to do things to the paddlers, but because we haven't been part of that pay-to-play audience like fishermen or hunters, there's often unintended consequences for paddlers. And if we can just be part of the conversation, we can prevent those.
Exactly. And everybody has a voice, and being able to get everybody on the table is, the best way to do it.
Absolutely. Well, I do want to give a shout out to a couple of things happening on the NASBLA side of the family, but we got to be careful not to put the cart in front of the horse, because these aren't finalized out for prime time yet. So let's just tell folks to keep an eye out. You want to give the first one?
Sure. So also on that NASBLA webpage, you can find out about honors programs. So the National Paddlesports Committee Honors Program is a program promoting paddling safety online. And so this program is recognizing, you can see the 2025 honorees on the screen. So this program is recognizing paddle sports companies, liveries, and brands for social media posts and that are supporting safe paddling practices. So this is a huge shout out for everybody who's doing safe paddling practices.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it came about, I think, as sort of a conversation between the Paddle Sports Trade Coalition and NASBLA and all of the players in this space of what can we do to change this trajectory on these statistics if we were all to work together. And this was a way to try to commemorate and honor the people that are making a real effort to show the right safety standards online.
Exactly. And it's something simple as every time you show somebody on the water, they've got a life jacket on. Every time you show a boat, if it's required to be registered, it's all of these things, paddling with a buddy. So all of these things that we all know is an excellent, safe way to paddle. You just show it in all of your posts.
Exactly. So the other thing that's about to happen, I know that NASBLA has been working diligently on an entry-level paddle sports course for states that don't have an internal program, and that's going to be rolling out later this year. And again, don't want to put the cart too far in front of the horse. There's some things that aren't finalized yet. But whether a state is implementing their own program, whether they're implementing Smart Start, whether they're implementing this NASBLA program, there's going to be opportunities for local entry-level ACA instructors to be a resource to these agencies and to help them get started.
Very much so, because again, you know, your expertise as ACA instructors is a great partnership, and with the boating law administrators, with the education coordinators, who again want to implement a program, but maybe do not have all of the people and all the pieces in place. So yeah, this is in our world, Andrea, we know it's a no-brainer. We just have to get the pieces together and you know, get them to know each other. And then, as you teased a little bit, you know, look for some potential train the trainer opportunities for on water, along with maybe, you know, along with the presenter's guides coming out.
Yeah, I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it. I'm trying to make it real. But I mean, there'll be lots of ways, and states will ultimately have the call of what they're going to do to train their presenters. But if there's a way we can use the ACA 6000 instructors as a resource, that seems like a good way to go to get us started.
I totally agree.
So, well, thank you so much, Susan. Guys, I want to highlight for you that in the show notes, we've got lots of resources linked. We've got that web page for all the NASBL state voting contacts. We've got the web page for the ACA regional chairs and state directors. I linked the ACA Smart Start program in case you're not familiar with those resources. I even linked the article from the Water Sports Foundations that gives all the details on the most at-risk paddlers, so that you can incorporate that into your work as a water safety ambassador. And the article about the Paddlesports Committee honors I included as well. So make use of those links, make use of those resources, and level up what you're doing this year. Every little nugget that you throw into your TED Talk is going to make a difference to the paddlers you talk to and the people you talk to. As always, I want to tease our next episode on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. for just 15 minutes. We're going to have Joff Luckett, who is the founder of Tennessee Kayak Anglers and the chair of the brand spanking new ACA Paddle Sports Fishing Committee. He's going to tell us all about that program. And so you can find out how to get involved, how to find classes, how to bring it to your part of the country, etc. And as always, I want to give a shout out to Jerry Vandenberg, my songwriter friend in Nashville, that allows us to use his music as part of our countdown. He's got 4 CDs of paddle songs, you guys. So go check out his music, play it at the campfire. You'll like it. And let's just all have a great week out there. Susan, thank you again for coming. I always appreciate your insights.
Thank you, Andrea, and everybody be safe out there.